Hello students, welcome back to your history class. I am Miss Jenny Shah and we are doing chapter 4, the three orders. And I had asked you all to write down this question number 7, attempt it on your own. So now I say I will discuss the answer with you all over here. So sorry for that. Okay. So question has many parts. So we start with if I were a king. I'm talking of mine. Okay, I'm just giving you all ideas so you can borrow a few and make your own answers. If I were a knight, I would give all honor and respect due to my lord, and I would fight for him whenever I am called upon to do so. I would also collect men capable of fighting for the Lord and collect taxes as well as a part of their produce from the peasants who were under my charge. I would also engage serfs for doing various works on the manor, and myself I would live in comfort and luxury. I would stake my life to defend my honor against any knight who dared to show indecent behavior towards me or my lord. I would be chivalrous towards the fair sex as is expected of every knight. So basically, you're going to talk about the life of knights by putting yourself in those shoes. If I were a serf, if I were a serf, I would only curse my fate for working very hard for my lord, the knight. I would suffer strokes of lashes in case he got displeased. I would have to graze his cattle, build and repair his house, as well as the manor roads. At other times, I would be forced to provide free labor in his field. I would always wish to escape from such a miserable life, but would never dare to, as in the case of being caught, I would be treated far worse than the slaughterhouse animals. Compelled by the circumstances, I would serve my master with the vain hope that some day my lord or master would release me and I would become a free man. Okay, now if I were the lord of the manor. If I were the lord of the manor, I would live the most luxurious life. I would have a big house with several rooms, all well furnished. My house would have been built with stones and like a castle. It would have a moat filled with water all around so as to protect my people and us in times of need by giving them the refuge. I would also have managed my farm, pastures, woods, and workshops in such a way so as to make my manor self dependent. Next is if I were a free man. If I were a free man, I would have worked hard on my farm in order to raise the production because it was not required of me to give any part of it to the lord of the manor. I would have to give only a specific sum of money as tax, so I would be the master of all I could produce. So I would not live a life luxury like the Lord, yet my life would be more comfortable than all the other peasants, much because the Lord would not be able to call me to work on his farm, nor could he force me to work as a free laborer. As such, my life would be happy. Lastly, monk. If I were a monk, I would live a simple life and observe strict restraint. I would not marry and I would pray to God daily at the church. I would also serve the common folk and obtain salvation by nursing the sick in the church hospital. I would also teach the young ones in the church school so that they might grow into good citizens. In the evening, I would preach among them so that they might live a pious life. So, in case you all have included any other point, that's absolutely fine, but you have to speak about their life the way you know it. All right, so now we go to the next parts of the question. Okay, question 8 is mention the important factors that led to the rise of middle class in the society. Also can be asked as what new class began to develop in the latter years of the Middle Age, and it can also be asked that which class developed that eventually led to the download of the feudalism and why. Okay. So during the last years of the medieval age, the middle class emerged as a new class. Many factors led to the rise of middle class in that period. Some of those factors which led to the middle class are, so like this you will always introduce the question before giving points. For a 4-mark question, 4 to 5 points are necessary. Number 1, most of the feudal lords had been killed in the Holy Crusades, and consequently the feudal power had become weak. The weakness of the feudal power contributed a lot to the emergence of the new middle class. Number 2, the invention of gunpowder helped the kings in subduing the feudal lords. The gunpowder became such a powerful weapon in the hands of the king that the feudal lords and the barons found themselves quite helpless against them. Number 3, the growth of commerce made the trading class quite rich. They in turn sought the king's favor and helped him whenever called for. Consequently, the feudal lords were isolated from the royal patronage. Number 4, at many places, the rich traders and wealthy merchants got many towns and cities freed from the feudal control by paying for them. Such new cities soon grew into prosperous centers of trade. Number 5, the new class of wealthy merchants patronized art, science, literature, and education, which gave them a predominant position in the society. So these were all the reasons that it led to the rise of middle class in the society. Next question, what were the causes of the development of cities in the medieval Europe? Or give an account of the causes of the growth of towns in Europe during the Middle Ages. There were many causes which led to the growth of towns in Europe during the Middle Ages. The Crusades or the Holy Wars forced the Christians to travel in foreign lands where they came to know of many new objects of comfort and luxury. All this completely transformed the way of living of the Europeans. The demand for new objects of comfort and luxury gave a great impetus to the trade and industry and led to the rise of towns. The emergence of feudalism was accompanied by the decline of trade in towns, but with the gradual decline of feudalism, particularly from the 11th century, it gave rise to trade and towns. The rise of the middle class towards the end of the Middle Ages also led to the emergence of towns. The economic prosperity of this class made the rising towns free from all sorts of feudal control, and this thing further added to their importance. The contact between the East and the West encouraged trade and commerce, which ultimately led to the establishment of various arts and crafts at different centers. These centers slowly took the shape of towns. So these were the 4 reasons how towns came into being in the medieval Europe. Next, question 10. Name 3 new products and discoveries of the Middle Ages. Or the Middle Ages were the formative period of modern history. Explain the statement and give arguments in support of your answer. So for this you say, Middle Ages were a period of confusion because of the barbarian invasions. But Later, the Middle Ages has lots of credit on its side too. During this period, Europe developed a nice civilization and advances were made in all directions. Firstly, in the religious field, Christianity cleared the way for religious reforms that were to come. Secondly, a great progress was made in the economic field. Many towns and cities grew and trade industries developed. The modern concepts of capitalism and industrialization developed the economic tendencies, which also found expression in the Middle Ages. Thirdly, in the social field, a new class known as the middle class came to forefront. In fact, the freedom provided by the towns allowed the middle class to develop even further. Fourthly, the contacts that were established with the East gave a great impetus to the study of philosophy, mathematics, and science. The discovery of Arabic numerals greatly encouraged the study of mathematics. It was during the Middle Ages that the discovery of marine compass and gunpowder was made. New products like carpets, painted glassware, and sodium carbonate were bought out during the Middle Ages. Fifthly, various geographical discoveries were also made during the Middle Ages. Both America and a new sea route to India was discovered during that period. Sixthly, the foundation of the present day renowned universities like Oxford and Cambridge, Salerno and Bologna in Italy were laid during this period. Thus, Middle Age had importance of their own. And so, the Middle Ages can be called truthfully the formative period of medieval history. Okay? Next question. It said that the churches kept learning alive in the medieval Europe, and it's also sometimes said that the church prevented advance in learning. Give proof of the truth to both the statements. Okay, so how did it keep the learning alive? What is the proof? So medieval ages are generally regarded as the dark period where there was no light except the flickering of light of learning, and that was kept alive by the Catholic Church. The church established the monasteries where the monks and the priests taught grammar, logic, arithmetic, and theology. They also prepared hand-copied books of ancient classics, which helped in promoting knowledge and spreading learning among the masses. How the church prevented advance in learning? One is where I just gave you the example of a proof of how it kept the learning alive. Now we're going to talk about how it stopped advance in learning. The learning that the medieval church emphasized was lopsided and incomplete. It was bigoted and restricted to such matters as would prepare only monks and nuns. The whole education was imparted through the medium of Latin, which only a handful of monks and priests could understand. It was a dead language for the common man. The church education ignored history and science, and it discouraged the scientific inquiry, thus preventing I'm so sorry. The church education ignored history and science and discouraged scientific discovery, and so preventing the progress of scientific learning. The education discouraged logic and rational thinking, and they even punished those who appealed to reason rather than to faith. They called, they called them blasphemy. The church stagnated science and paved the path for superstitious magic, etc. In this way, we can say that though the medieval church kept the learning alive, yet in its own way it prevented the advancement in learning, and as a result, the dim light that flickered in the darkness made the darkness more feared. So with this, I will end today's class here. You all can do the question number 12 as homework for next class. So I'll start with that discussion. With this, I end today's class. Stay home, stay safe, start learning for your examinations. Okay, thank you.